Looks like we're ready to go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for coming back for our community night. I hope to not keep you too long tonight, but I do want to get a couple very important items out to the community and let you know what's going on for our safe return plan for the students. We are set to begin Monday, the October the 5th, okay? That is the target date for the population. The only exception for the Monday, October the 5th start would be Mr. Kane's building, which is Hanover Green. He is set to have a kindergarten orientation for groups A on Thursday, October the 1st, and group B on Friday, October the 2nd. So if any of that information pertains to you, something will be coming out through his Remind app, through his social media, and also his one call system, his all call system. So Thursday would be an orientation again for group A of kindergarten students and group B for the second half of the kindergarten students. Those students are divided by alphabetical order. A is A through M, and then or A through L or M, depending on the number, and N through Z or M through Z would be the B group. And that's going to be for a vast majority of the district with the exception of the high school. Everyone will receive something that will give you precise information as to when your child is a group A student or a group B student. In addition to this, to help you visualize what week is group A and what week is group B, we have split it into blue and white or A-B schedules. So you'll be receiving on our website and on our social media a copy of the month schedule. 1 week will be a white schedule, which is A, and 1 week is going to be blue or B for blue. The blue schedule is the B schedule. So it will alternate. The A-B schedule will be as follows. Monday through Thursday would be your child's week. So let's say Monday, October the 5th. Group A comes in Monday through Thursday, same group of students, all come to school Monday through Thursday. Then we have 100% virtual education on Fridays. The students will have a half day of virtual education on a Friday. There will be an 11 o'clock dismissal on Friday from a virtual setting that would allow our staff to go in and deep clean the buildings. And the deep clean is going to be going in and disinfecting every single classroom and every single building for the preparation for next week's B schedule. So we'll use B schedule on Monday, October the 12th. They would come in, Friday the building would have been deep cleaned or disinfected, and then B schedule would come in Monday through Thursday. Everybody would be virtually educated on Friday until 11 a.m. They would break for lunch and then be done for the weekend. This would continue to repeat itself. And again, on our website and on our social media, there will be a monthly calendar to allow families to refer back to if you're ever confused as to whether your student's on A schedule, B schedule, or what week you happen to fall on, okay? Teachers this week may be asking for folks if they want to remain in the virtual setting at all times. That's completely okay, folks. I want you to fully understand, if you are not at all comfortable sending your students back onto our buses or back into our buildings or both, then you can entertain the 100% virtual portion of our hybrid schedule. Students do not have to come into our buildings, just remain logging on as they did this morning. They could continue to move forward in this format, and that would be completely okay. They would get credit for the day. They would get credit for their attendance, and they would also receive the information that they need to for that particular lesson, okay? So you may have a teacher ask you this week or beginning of next and say, you know, do any of you plan to come into the building so they can prepare for your arrival and also prepare for the online lessons that they will be conducting. If not, if the teachers do not conduct that type of survey, we as a district are going to send something out to try to get a handle on how many students we need to bus, transport, or expect in the school for in-person lunches. So you will be getting some surveys coming over the next 7 to 8 days in preparation for Monday, October the 5th, okay? CTC students at the high school, if any folks had any confusion recently, I wanted to clear. We were at one point having CTC students that were going up to their labs up at our Career Tech Center in Wilkes-Barre, and then going home and remaining virtual. They, again, have the option to stay virtual and not return to Hanover Area School District physically, and they could go home and remain 100% virtual, or they can begin on as soon as possible, or on the 5th of October, they could return to both CTC physically and our high school physically. So if this could clear any confusion that has been happening recently for any CTC students and their parents, this is something that we have cleared up, okay? So you do have the option, in person or to remain virtual. The busing schedules. I know folks haven't had to worry about catching a bus or arriving at a bus stop. Beginning of next week, we are set to post all of these bus stops, locations, and pickup times on our website. Through our Remind app and our social media, I will alert our community that these bus schedules are posted to our website. They are not fully prepared right now. They will be prepared by the beginning of next week, and I will alert everyone on this call and everyone in our community of when they can refer to the bus stop that pertains to you and your children, the times and the locations. Next, our CAF procedures. So the lunch procedures. The folks that are remaining in the virtual setting, we will still have our lunch site locations that we have had today and we have had since August the 28th. So those remote sites will continue to operate. The only difference is that the students that are within our buildings, we will be serving them lunches, obviously within the buildings themselves, okay? Within our buildings, the buildings are all marked with 6-foot spacers on the floor. There's actually images on the floor of shoes where people could have a visual aid as to what a socially distanced student looks like. They're also placed on the walls. When they do arrive into a cafeteria for lunch or breakfast, there are marked spots at the table that are safe and socially distanced. They cannot sit in any areas that are marked off. There are only 3 seats at every table. But when I say a 3-foot table, we're talking about a long double table. So only 3 seats are able to be utilized, and they are 6 feet apart. So the procedure for feeding these students, some of them may not be able to eat within their cafeteria because of spacing. So we're going to go in, gather the lunches, then return back to their classrooms and be behind the desk shields that I've told you that the Hanover Area School District has purchased for every student on one of our last community updates. All of those desk shields are 3/4 plastic squares, three-quarter plastic squares that sit atop the desk. They are covering the front and the sides of each student. They would eat behind this 3/4 square. And that would be the difference between the CAF procedures that you would see at an elementary level versus the high school level, where we do have enough space to socially distance our students. I have also discussed about the desk shields. Every student is provided one. We are going to have them remain within the classrooms. These desk shields are for our particular students. We will have a safekeeping for them as they move out of the building. They are out of the building and working remotely for the week. They will be in safekeeping. They are particular to each student. They will be identifiable to your student and your student only. And they will be cleaned regularly, and we will make sure that your student is always behind that shield while being educated, as well as our educators are going to be behind these shields as well. I have discussed our deep cleaning Fridays. Deep cleaning Fridays is disinfectant of every classroom, every seat, every desktop, every railing, doorknob, so on and so forth. And this is after the surgical spray that we had applied over last weekend. If any of you saw the advertisement that we did with the Jan Pro disinfectant spray, this is a protective coating. It's called an Endure product. This Endure product is a 5-month protective coating spray that kills virus, bacteria, and airborne contaminants on contact when they land on any surface, desk, doorknob, light switch, any surface within the Hanover area school district is sprayed with this spray that kills on contact, protecting our students one layer safer. And this is something that is going to be monitored in the first 2 months, once a month by the Jan Pro company. They come in and swab, and they're looking for so many particles per million. And if it's not at the comfort level of their laboratory, they come out and they reapply the spray. But then after the second month, they come out weekly for months 3, 4, and 5. And they swab these particles per million to assure that we are getting optimal protection for our students as they enter and exit our buildings. We are going to work with this company as well to have the buses disinfected and have this spray applied as well. That is in operations for next week or toward the end of next week. And we want to show that that's one more added layer of protection and comfort to you sending your child to the school for surface touching. Then we also have posted yesterday and highly recommend folks to log on to our social media yesterday, where there was a partnership with Lysol Corporation that allowed you to register for your thermometer, because we do know our limitations as a district and we cannot monitor every student prior to their exit of the house every day to assure that their temperature is beneath the 100.4 recommended by the Department of Health. So we have asked that folks log on, register for a free thermometer. If you don't have one, this would be shipped right to the school. We'll get it out to the community. And then we have the barcode entrance ticket that we are requesting folks fill out daily. We cannot force you to do that, but we are asking for a community effort here to make sure that when your child is leaving the house, they are healthy, because I'm sure that you want the child to the left and to the right of them healthy. So we are strongly recommending that you use this entrance ticket. And if you have any concerns that are even remotely a concern, answering the barcode question, it's a short survey daily, that if it's a concern to you sending your child, we would just simply put them to the hybrid online format and monitor them and then contact you and work with you. These entrance these entrance tickets are monitored daily, bright and early. We're checking to see if there's any red flags for us as a district. And we would hope that folks are helping us in making sure that no one's getting on our buses, possibly and infecting anyone that's sitting next to them or riding with them, and then in turn entering into our buildings, possibly exposing others to what we fear is a positive case of COVID. So with that being said, we want to make sure that we are all working together and strongly encourage the use of these entrance tickets. It's a barcode you scan with the camera of your phone, and it prompts a quick survey, 3 to 4 question survey, and you fill it out. Once you hit submit, it goes right back to our school nurses, and then it pertains to the building your child is going to. So it's another added layer of protection that I hope that we all can work together to make sure that everybody is as safe as possible, okay? So in addition to that, with students moving back into the in-person format, if you do have a planned vacation, okay, we're going to go back to the monitoring of student travel. So if you do have a vacation that is planned in one of the high-risk states, and according to a national story, we do still have quite a few number of high-risk states that we would ask that you utilize the online format or the virtual format if you plan to travel with your family into a high-risk area. Please do not come back immediately and not quarantine your child and send them right back onto our bus and into our school. We want to make sure that we are all practicing all these safety measures to assure, as students are congregating in our building from our community, that we are assuring the safety of everyone. Some other additional options that we have exercised as the district is an additional system that is set to be installed next week. This is a company from Chicago, Illinois. It's called DriftNet Security. This is a system that is obtained, the purchase and lease has been obtained through a grant. And this is a system that monitors body temperatures throughout the course of the day. Okay, so even if you use that entrance ticket, and when you monitored your child's body temperature and it was beneath 100.4, the recommended temperature by the Department of Health, a third period of the day, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, your child's body temperature begins to elevate. This system would detect that elevation, and it would alert our administration through a text message. The pod would alert the administration and through a text message, and then we would be able to get your child to safety and the children around your child into a safe environment so that there's no further exposure. This system as well has multiple safety options, from metal detection to smoke detection to water detection, many safety measures that are an enhancement from what our current system has. When any of these emergency when any of these emergencies that I just mentioned begin to take place, it activates a camera within the hallways or within the classrooms, monitoring the emergent situation, and these pods contact 911 automatically and directly. Our police, fire, and ambulance have direct access into these pods. They could tap right into our monitoring system and see where the threat is, see where the issue is. If there's a fire, they get honed right into our camera system and know right where the fire is to utilize their time efficiently and their resources efficiently to go right to a precise location and get children to safety and mitigate the problem. So with that being said, these options that I'm discussing with the security system, we are going to have a community night just in particular to discuss this system, because this company is stating that Hanover Area School District will now be the safest school district in Pennsylvania. Now, I know every company that's selling a product would say that, but I'm telling you that from sitting here and having law enforcement, our school resource officer, and professionals in the room as we went through tutorial after tutorial with this company. I firmly do feel that we would be the safest school district within the Commonwealth, if not one of the top. It talks to our students in an emergent situation and tells them what to do. It's just a fabulous system, and I'm very excited for you folks to understand that you're sending your children to a school district that has a system that is this high tech and has these type of capabilities. That layer of security and peace of mind for you is something that I'm anxious to share with you. So those are the topics that I wanted to cover tonight. I know this is relatively brief, but I know that I've covered the bulk of this in previous sessions. I just wanted to get the October 5th date out to you, the blue and the white AB schedules out to you, clear up any misinformation about CTC. I wanted to make sure that all of you had heard it again from me, that if you are in the virtual portion of hybrid, you never have to enter our buildings. If you want to continue to exercise that option, you may do so. You never have to step foot on a bus, in our buildings, whatever it is. You can always utilize Hanover area school district teachers, remain from home, if that gives you further peace of mind. Bus schedules be out next week, desk shields, so on and so forth. Masks are a requirement at all times.
Where they're at in school, and they can get.
So the masks are always a requirement, okay? The only person that could give a mask relaxation break would be the teacher. It's at the discretion of the teacher. That's their classroom. If that means that it drops down below their nose, that's what that means. It's at the discretion of the teacher, their comfort zone, and also the practice of the students. If it looks as though the students are practicing very safe measures, they may consider a little bit more lenient practices themselves. But if not, they feel that there's that protection is always needed, then they're going to do so. But that's going to be at the discretion of our professionals. So right now, I want to open this up to questions and give folks the time you need to clarify anything or have peace of mind for the October 5th start. So Mrs. Kitchen will call out names according to the folks that are going to utilize the raise their hand option on the bottom, and we'll take whatever time you need.
Okay, Wendy.
Yeah, hi, I have two questions actually. The first one would be, okay, say your child's at school and this high-tech thing determines their temperature is getting higher. Do they then call the parent to come and pick their child up?
Well,
No,
you
they're gonna
have
leave.
to. If it exceeds the 100.4, we're most certainly
Okay.
going to be looking for a parent to come and pick them up.
Okay, awesome. And then I was just wondering about the notebooks.
The notebooks,
Yeah.
Yes, because they didn't hand them out. They handed them out to people who didn't have the devices at home to use, and then the rest of us are still waiting for the notebooks from school.
oh, you're talking about the computers. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I misunderstood you. Okay, so right now I'm glad that you brought this up. So our Chromebooks are set to be in the second week of October. Now, they told us this before. So this is a constant problem that we're running into. This is something that is I know it's got to be growing frustrating to you because it's growing frustrating to us. The peace of mind for me is that getting your students back into the classrooms is a peace of mind for me, because I know that the equity is there then, because then you will have the opportunity to receive the same education as everybody else. Whereas before, when we're 100% virtual, you'd have to share a device possibly if there's multiple siblings in the house. If you're entering the building, I know you're getting every bit of our teachers. So that's why I'm moving forward with this. So I believe me, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, madam. What was your name?
Wendy.
Wendy?
Wendy.
Okay, Wendy. Wendy, if it were up to me, you would have the Chromebooks back in August. And we were set to get them August 26th. They pushed it back several weeks. Now they pushed it back again. And every school district, as you heard me say before, is fighting for the same equipment. So I apologize, and I know that you probably understand it's out of our hands.
Right.
Thank you, Wendy.
Pick it up.
Okay, please stay muted, everybody. Michelle Okonski.
Michelle, how are you?
Well, I'm here.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Two quick questions, Mr. Barrett. With the kids that will be going into the school, right now the school day is starting at 8 o'clock. Are the school hours going to change?
So the school day is going to go back to the original start and stop times that you were involved with last year. So what time or what school did your child go to last year?
She's up at the high school. She's a senior.
Okay, so it'll be a 7:30 start until 2 again. These schedules are going to come out. I'm glad that you brought this up. Okay, so these schedules are going to be out. They should be out. We could get those out tomorrow, posted to the website. We're going to wait till next week and post everything at once. But everything is going to go back to its normal times. Okay.
Okay, and then they will have that third period, that win time?
Yes, so WIN is an acronym for what I need. Okay, so this is a period that's going to be utilized from kindergarten to 12th grade. So this is a time that students might need review, maybe enrichment, maybe remediation, and we're going to utilize a period throughout the course of the day to either strengthen a student's skills, maybe remediate them, and or enhance them. So everybody does need something throughout the course of the day. So this is something new that the district has implemented this year. Unfortunately, we're not able to get off the ground as normal and able to utilize it in its best manner. But teachers have done a fabulous job. I have to say, at the high school, they're talking about utilizing periods that are going to be activities periods that we have utilized in competitions before, such as, a Connects competition or STEM competitions. These are the periods that will utilize and strengthen our kids' skills within these particular categories. So this is going to be something that students who are receiving any type of service during this time, it's what I need. So if a student is receiving speech therapy during this time, they're pulled out, they're not missing any core categories of academic times. So we have crafted out particular times so we don't have any students missing any core content areas. So Michelle, I appreciate you bringing this up because this was a piece that I had missed. WIN is back in third period at the high school. WIN is district-wide. And if you hear your students say, I had WIN period, it's an acronym for what I need. And this is something that we could really bolster a child's strength, that we could capitalize on it, or we could remediate a student's skill that may be in need. So this is something that we're very happy to get off the ground and spend specified time that's honed in on particular needs of students.
Right. And my second question is, there's many other illnesses out there that you get a fever with. So are these kids going to be required if they have a fever to get a COVID test?
It's going to be based on the recommendation of your doctor. So we're going to obviously do safety first and ask your child to be picked up, or if on the entrance ticket you say, okay, they're running a bit of a fever, we're going to ask them to work remotely for the day or virtually for the day, and then ask you to reach out to your physician. Obviously, nobody here is a physician, but what we understand that, and not everything is going to be, COVID-19. It's not, but we just have to make sure that we're preparing that everything is COVID-19 and taking the proper steps to protect against that possibility.
Okay, so now if my daughter stays 100% virtual, she stays home, she will still have that third period, that WIN time.
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Have a good night.
You too.
Josie.
Hi.
Hey, Josie.
I have two questions. My first question is if there is a positive COVID case in the district, will the school shut down?
Yes, it will. So even it may turn out being a district-wide shutdown, and I'm going to tell you why. We utilize the same buses for every single building. We drop students off at the high school, then we move to another building, then we pick up, we drop off at another building, and we continue to rotate this schedule, but we utilize the same buses. So for me, I would have to shut down district-wide for 3 to 5 days to make sure and contact trace. One thing that I spoke about earlier was that DriftNet security system that we had spoken of, that we have just purchased. This is a contact tracer within our buildings, obviously. Wouldn't be able to contact trace on a bus, but it would be able to allow us to trace back and see where the students were to make it a little bit easier so that we don't have to shut down every building in the district and interrupt education. But for me, erring on the side of caution, Josie, I would shut down districts to make sure that every bus is clean, because I will not know if that student was in contact with others or where they sat on a bus until it perhaps was too late.
Okay. My next question is about the temperature monitoring system. Is that a UV system or is that a thermal system? Do you know?
This, the company is going to come on and answer these questions. It's a thermal system. Any type of monitoring is non-harmful. I do know that that was a question that we were getting, and any monitoring of the body system was not harmful to any type of medical equipment that was on a body. Let's say, for example, insulin pumps or anything like that. It does not interfere with this. So, so if that's perhaps what a concern was, that was something that was brought to the attention of the company because we were experiencing the same concerns. And perhaps it's not your concern, but it's not any type of hazardous or harmful monitoring. But I will have a particular night for you and others to ask particular questions when it comes to this.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that helped you.
Yes, thank you.
You go on a vacation far away now.
No.
You get that joke? No? Long?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Okay. Next one.
Heidi?
Heidi?
Hi, how are you?
Is that hi, Heidi?
Hi. So this is another question, and I know you said you're going to have another information session about the
The system?
with the company. Yes, but my question is, so if a student does come to school, let's say they don't have a fever, when they get there, third period rolls around and they're walking through the hallway and it catches them with a fever.
Yes.
How does it identify which student that is, though? Like who?
It's a great question. So it will identify through a color that perhaps they're wearing. So say tonight I have a blue jacket on. A student with blue jacket, obviously he's not going to know it's Nathan Barrett, but it will be an identifiable clothing or something of that nature. But it begins to track and it puts a dot on that student. And that's a downloadable memory that we could do for contact tracing, but it is identifiable. It's going to have something that's going to allow the characteristic of that person to stick out so that it's identifiable to the school administrator to then remove the student from harm or a harmful situation or harming others. And also, in addition to that, as I said, it's activated. The cameras will be activated, so there'll be a dot on that person as well. So you'll be able to identify the person's image and their heat. So it's very easily tracked.
Okay, and so the company that does this too, so once a student gets tracked and it starts tracking the other students, is it that company is going to monitor everybody, or is it like a computer system then alerts you?
This is an outside company that monitors and alerts us. We get the alert. This is a software system that we're tied into, but it's not our system. So
Okay.
that's the piece that we lease. The equipment that we have is it's a wireless system and it's all tied in through them. But it's pretty fascinating when the person gets on here and explains the capabilities. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Amanda Evans?
Hey, Amanda.
Hi, how are you? I
Good,
have
how are
two
you?
questions. I'm
Go
good.
ahead.
So say we're a month back into school and then one of my kids gets sick. They just go virtually for those couple days they're sick?
That's it. They're counted present. They don't miss any time. They just, this could happen at any time. Let's say it's not, Amanda, it's not even that they're sick. That day you have to go somewhere, you have to travel to see a family member, have them log on, have them do what they need to do. There's a little bit more flexibility in this hybrid system. And so this is going to allow a little bit more freedom for folks.
And what if down the road COVID starts going up, kids get scared that they don't want to go, they could just switch back to complete virtual?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up, Amanda, because we just met with the teachers yesterday, and I said if we're out more than we're in, then we're going to go back to 100% virtual. And what I mean by that is we have to do a 3 to 5 day clean on our buses and on our buildings, and we have the scare on Wednesday of this week. We're shut down the rest of the week. We come back on Monday, and we have another scare again. We're shut down again. And we have 2 or 3 of those. It's just a major inconvenience to families. It's a major inconvenience and disruption to the flow of education. So we go back to what we know as normalcy, which is the virtual environment. I know it's not necessarily what people want to hear, but if we are in a dangerous situation where the positivity rates creep back up to 5%, and we think that the scares may be a reality, we have to shift to maintain the safest environment. That makes sense or no?
It does. So that if that were to happen, you guys would go for a little while and then come back and talk about maybe going back in, or would that just be?
Well, I don't want to get there, so I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I would, if we had a few scares, I would ask everybody to come back together like we're doing tonight and say, get a little input, or just say, hey, listen, we need to be out for a month. Let's see if this subsides. And as you know, I send out the text messages on Sunday from that COVID dashboard that I received from the Department of Health that's particular to the zip codes that we live in. So if that's up near 5%, or we're having a burst in cases within the community we live, then I have to slow it down anyway, and we have to let it simmer down. So we'll take it on a week by week basis, but let's try to get back in and see, how we go and these protective measures work, and hopefully we don't run into this.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Nadine?
Hi, Nadine.
Hello. I'm not sure if anybody else has asked this question or not because I'm working, but with the A and B schedules, are they going to go by last name? So if we have siblings in separate schools, then they'll be on the same schedule?
Yes. So the only time that there's going to be, well, first of all, yeah, the answer to your question is yes. Okay. If there are siblings with different last names, and we're running into that frequently, that's very common these days, then what we're going to do is we're going to send out a survey next week to try to make sure that this is accommodated, because we know mom and dad may be only able to work when everybody's out of the house. So we're going to try to get everybody on the same schedule. So so that survey is going to come out next week. So I'm going to drive you crazy next week with transportation surveys, whether you're staying home or you're coming in person, and then also this last name survey. So we will get all this stuff out to there to try to accommodate and make sure that you're getting what you need, and we also have the information we need to make sure that happens.
Okay, good. And then just one more thing. So in their off week, they will be fully virtual then, correct?
For 5 straight days. Yep, actually 6
Okay.
days. So that Friday, there'll be a Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
off Friday, or not off, but learning virtually Friday. Then the whole next week, they're completely
Will be
virtual.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Nadine.
Diane?
Hey there. Real quick, are they gonna have a homeroom they're gonna have to report to,
Yes.
even virtual?
What's that?
When virtual, are they gonna have to report to a homeroom as well?
Yes. So you're going to be receiving a letter from each school that your child that pertains to your child. So there's going to be instructions for every single building. Every single building may do it differently because I know the high school is going to do it a little bit differently. But you're going to receive a letter from the school that your child attends, and it's going to give this complete breakdown. Your child will be in this homeroom. This would be first period. So you're going to get very specific information coming out. I know that some of them are sending them tomorrow, and some of them are sending Monday.
Okay. Are they expected to bring like their laptops with them to class?
So
the
no, so
Chromebook?
so that's something that will also be included in this, because if you have a personal device, we're going to have some difficulty, and I don't know if Mr. Hummer's on this call or not, but getting the personal device onto our network right now requires a few steps that are safety breach to us. So we were going to try to make sure that we are not bringing personal devices to the Hanover Area School District. So if that does change, we will get that information out, but right now they're not to bring the device.
Okay, and one more quick question. The thermometers, it looks like they're not for the high school, just for the elementary students?
Yeah, I think Mrs. McCabe is on here. Mrs. McCabe, I think just the elementaries are participating. Am I accurate with that?
Company only has it open to elementary schools right now, but I've been private messaging people who reach out to me. If you have a high school student and you have a need, send me an email, send me a message, call me at the schools, and we can work it out and get you one.
Okay, great. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks, you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, Diane.
James Schulten?
James.
Going good. How about yourself? Now, my question pertains to the Chromebooks. Now, I understand we were all gearing up to have the kids have their own Chromebooks during school. That was going to be their personal computers for school and everything else, and they're going to be traveling with them. Now, without these Chromebooks, how is this going to work with the learning in school?
So the learning environment in school with the teachers would have normal materials that we traditionally have had for the past years or your child's educational career would be a normal day of school. They would be in school, they would learn from the teacher teaching whatever manner they choose. And then the other students would be online. So right now, I understand it's not ideal to not have them, but it's going to go back to a traditional format of an in-person instruction.
I understand that's going to be more in person, but I know that a lot of the schools were sharing books between the kids and everything else in that manner. Is it going to be all like worksheets that are getting passed out now, or?
Yeah, we are not sharing any of that. So it's ironic that you brought this up, because we talked about this today, that if we don't have one book, one item for each student individually, then we are not to utilize it. So so I'm glad that you brought this up. So it would probably be more along the lines of packets that would be based just for individual use. And if a student, we have enough books or enough novels or whatever it might be for each student, that would be the only time we're distributing items like that. But otherwise, there's no sharing, zero.
Okay, that was just pretty much my main concern. So thank you.
Thanks, James.
Chris?
Hi, Chris.
Hello. The last person just asked my question. I just was too late on lowering my hand. Thank you.
Okay, easy enough.
Okay, we have a question from an iPhone.
Oh, I apologize, but I think that I was the Chris that was called on because now my raised hand went away.
Okay, yes, I lower your hand when you're called on. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's my husband's name. But so Mr. Bear, it's Melissa Williams. So I have
Hi.
a couple of questions. The first one being is I'm more curious about the high school level. So I'm curious how classes are going to work because currently, you know, there's some days we have some technical issues with the kids not being able to get onto links for certain periods, et cetera. So I'm curious, will class then still go on as normal with the kids who are in class, but then the ones that are home that week will kind of be behind a little bit? I was just not sure how that was going to be kind of handled.
So you're saying if we have a connectivity issue, would the normal in-person instruction continue to move forward without the other folks moving along with them? Is that the question I'm getting?
Yeah,
Okay,
basically,
so,
yeah.
Okay, so so right now, obviously, we hope that doesn't happen. But if that does happen, you know, we're going to make sure that if anybody did fall behind on anything, they get the information that they have. But with half of the students now being in person, it's putting less strain on our network. So I'm hoping that this does reduce the amount of the word I used before was strain. I guess it would probably, in hopes, make the network run a little bit more efficient as students are now off the network and now in person. So I'm trying to be optimistic about this, but if there is an issue that we do run into, we will make sure that students receive what they need and get the IT department involved.
Okay. And with staying in that same train of thought, especially at the high school level, when a class has a test, how do those that are at home get tested? Because they would obviously have a way different advantage over the students who are in person.
So I was talking to the high school principal today, ironically enough, and there are online software that some of the teachers are using right now for this ability to run formative assessments. So the teachers are strategizing for this in particular. To tell you that one teacher or all teachers will use the same method, I cannot say that. So it's at the teacher's discretion. And I'm very hopeful that they would communicate with you as to what this procedure would look like. But I do know that Mr. Malloy was in my office today discussing this very matter.
Okay. My last question, it kind of piggybacks off the gentleman who asked about work being handed in. I'm not quite sure if I understand. I just want to check my understanding of it. So without the Chromebooks, the purpose of the Chromebooks I thought was to kind of alleviate handing in assignments, period. So now, like obviously with the complications of getting the Chromebooks, we obviously can't necessarily do that. So
Sure.
I guess my question is, so when the kids are in class, they'll hand it in, but when they're home, they'll hand it in online. And the reason I ask that is because their to-do lists are going to be insane to try to keep up with, because there's going to be things that they physically handed in because they were in-house, but that's still going to show up on their to-do list in the Google Classroom, if that makes sense. Because
Sure.
I don't know if
It does.
teachers are able to structure that. That's just overwhelming for a parent to keep track of too. And that's why I'm curious.
Okay, and I don't have that answer for you right now, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I know that the teachers I know that the teachers and administration have been in talks as to what our Friday afternoons are going to be utilized for, and they understand that they're going to have to differentiate between students who are in person and students who are online. So I'm sure the to-do list and these things are taken into consideration. But I'm sorry, I don't have that answer, Melissa, right now.
That's okay.
I could try to get that for you,
Okay,
and
that'd be great.
I could get specifics for you. Okay?
Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
You too.
Okay, the iPhone. Someone with an iPhone have a question?
I think it's me, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is regarding masks. So you said that they're going to be behind barriers at each desk. Is that the setup?
Correct. Every
But they're
in-person
still,
student, I'm sorry, go on.
but they're still going to be required to wear their masks even once they're behind the barriers,
Correct.
and that's going to be all day.
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. That's district-wide policy? I'm just curious.
No, it's terrible because not terrible. It's protected, but I know it's a lot on kids, but we just got an updated mask requirement from the Department of Health, signed by Dr. Levine. So this is something that is a requirement,
So
unfortunately. I
even
know.
though the adults were going out and were socializing with only masks, the students are going to be separated, socially distancing, and they're going to have a secondary barrier, and they're going to be behind masks. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on my understanding of what's going to be required.
I'm not clear on the question. Somebody was socializing? I don't know what you mean.
No, I said, so there's going to be three things. They're going to be social distancing
Okay,
because the desks are going to be separated, right?
sure. Yes,
And then there's going to be a plastic barrier that
correct.
they'll be behind, and then they'll also be behind a mask.
Right. Yes,
Okay.
and I do know where you're going. You're maybe thinking a little bit over the top with this.
Well, I'm in college. I'm a college student, and
Mhm.
that, I mean, we don't have any barriers. The desks are social distanced, and we're wearing masks.
Right.
And so I'm just curious. I wanted to see if they were going to have to wear them all day, because I mean that's a lot of. It's difficult to hear people when they're talking behind a mask, and if you're also behind a barrier, that's going to make it doubly difficult, I feel like. Anyway, and then my second, and are they going to have like times when they can take these masks off? Are there going to be breaks? I heard you say something about if they're behaved or something, then the teachers will
No,
give them.
oh, no. No, it's not going to be based on behavior. This is going to be on.
Hello?
Stand by 1 second. I have an irate dog in the background. Hold on.
Okay.
My apologies. I have the same
Okay.
problems everybody else does. So my apologies, but a little embarrassing. So I apologize. However, I don't even know where the heck I was at this point, so I'm a little embarrassed. But
No,
but
about
I
the
think we're
masks. When
yeah.
when will the mask breaks be?
Okay, so yeah, it's not based on behavior. I apologize. So I'm coming back into tune. So the teacher discretion. Okay, so it's always going to be based on teacher discretion, and I'm thinking they're going to build confidence in the compliance of the students that are in front of them. So if they know and recognize that students are being mindful of the social distancing piece that you're talking about, and if they're getting up to throw something away, they put it back up over their nose and their mouth, so on and so forth, as they gain confidence in the student. Right now, it's a hard firm all the time. But
Okay.
if the teacher gains, and it's the professional's discretion. So if a teacher gains confidence in the ability for students to be mindful of when, and I don't want to use the word threat loosely in a school setting, because I don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable, but if they understand where the threat lies, where the communication within the 6 feet. So
Right.
please, forgive me for the use of the word threat, but as they understand where the, you know, the transmission can take place. So if they could gain confidence in that, I think. But to say if there's going to be breaks, I know that they were going to, I know that at the elementaries, they're going to have the ability to go outside. So once that happens, they may have their own space out there where they could get some mask breaks. And that is our plan at this point, is to try to get them outside, have them in their own space, have them outside breathing some fresh air. And we pull that down a little bit and get you know, a little bit of a break from that. That's got to be tedious.
I had one more quick question, and this was in regards to a previous Zoom call where they talked about if your child was sent home because they had an elevated temperature above the, what is it, 100.4?
Yes.
They said, I believe, I can't remember who it was that was doing the Zoom call, but they said that to return to school, there would be a mandatory COVID-19 test, and they wouldn't be able to return until it turned up negatives. And then I heard the question asked before, and you said, no, that was not the case.
Right. So we're mindful, and I said it, we're always erring on the side of caution, but we are asking the question that if you have an elevated temperature, that you reach out to your physician. The physician is going to ask, you know, plethora of questions that are going to
indicate whether or not a
right,
COVID
it's
test is
further
even
concern.
necessary.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So, and then if that temperature then drops a few days later, as I said, you know, the excellent piece about this format is that if we said, well, why don't you stay home the rest of the week in the virtual format? Okay, then we could see if that temperature remains elevated. Now we're looking at a pretty serious situation. And I'm not acting like a medical expert here, but what I'm saying to you is that it then elevates to a different level of concern.
So how many, is there going to be a set amount of days that they're going to have to be out? Are they going to have a doctor's note in order to return?
No, so Mrs. McCabe, are you on here?
I am.
Okay.
Right now, we would like the child to be fever-free for 72 hours. That's what our current protocol is. So that means without Tylenol, without Motrin, without anything to bring the temperature down. As long as they remain fever-free for 72 hours, they can return, and they have no other symptoms, that is. We're just strictly talking fever. Then they can return. I'm not requiring a doctor's note for their return. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm only requiring that they be fever-free for 72 hours. If they have symptoms on top of that, then I am going to request a doctor's note. I'm not requesting a COVID test, but a doctor's clearance.
Okay. All right. So fever-free for 72 hours, and then they can come back. I mean, that's pretty standard. I mean, even at a daycare center, when they send your kid home for a fever, you know, before all this. So that, to me, that's acceptable. But when I thought they were going to have a COVID test and all that stuff before they could return that. But okay, great. Sounds good.
Chris Crook. Chris? Okay, Jacqueline Gervil.
Hi, this is Jacqueline's better half. Hi there. My question is about the Chromebooks. If we want to keep our children home, keep them completely virtual, and the Chromebooks aren't in yet, we're going back to the full schedule. We only have they're sharing a device. So how can we have both children in for a full day of school if we're still sharing a device? Like, what do we do in the meantime?
So in the meantime, until that hopes that's the second week of October, we are still working with the Department of Health and understanding that what I have informed you on weeks ago when we talked about what we call synchronistic reporting, which is you're supposed to be in school on those particular days. The Department of Education is now mindful and understanding of the fact that Hanover Area School District, as well as most across the Commonwealth, are waiting on devices like this. So right now, we're not necessarily having our foot held to the fire, so to speak, with making sure that this synchronistic reporting is precise to the minute of a school day. When you're logging in on a daily basis, that's optimal. We are also communicating with our administration stating that if you hand in the assignment by sometime that day, or communicate with the teacher and say, listen, there's 3 kids sharing a laptop here. I could hand in by tomorrow at noon. If you work with me, we're okay with that. And we're marking students present as long as the assignments are coming in, because we have to be realistic here, okay? And I understand that, you know, there are multiple families just like your own that you're speaking of. So there's not gonna be people marked absent and, you know, receiving zeros for assignments and stuff. So just work with us and let us know, hey, listen, you know, we could hand that in by tomorrow night, but we just, you know, our other child has a big assignment due tomorrow, so we need the computer for the day. So we're understanding and mindful.
Okay.
Is that fair? Or?
Yes, but what about like tests and exams? If they're having to, will that be online also, that they can take it at their whenever it's available, or?
So again, it's the communication piece. So, you know, if you know that you're converging on 2 major assignments for one child and another, please just work closely with the teacher and state, you know, listen, both of my children have assessments tomorrow. One has a project due, one has to do a presentation, while the other one has a test. Everybody that works here and is teaching and communicating with parents is mindful that there's multiple people in your situation within that classroom, and understanding and mindful. So, you know, please don't ever feel uncomfortable just saying that, and you know, we pivot. That's it.
We have no choice.
Okay, thank you.
Yasmin?
I'm sorry, I'm at work. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I just have 2 questions. One's annoying, one's not so annoying. As far as the whole temperature thing, and I know you guys call the parents. I work away from home. My husband works at home. Is there, I guess, is there any like, I guess, time limit, you know what I mean? For like, say I can't drop everything and go get her like right then, and I need somebody else to come pick her up, like my mom who lives on the other side of town. Will there be like a time limit, like, hey, you have to come get her in an hour?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, we're trying that 30 minutes, Yasmin. I mean, you know, the hours probably max, but 30 minutes we're trying. So, you know, limit the exposure if there is a positive case.
Okay. Is there, okay, I guess that'd be fine. My other question is there, I work at Sam's Club, and they have a lot of hand sanitizer or anything like that. Can I possibly donate some to the school to help get rid of some germs, or that would be okay?
That would be wonderful. That would be very nice of you. And if
I definitely will.
If we could give you a phone number or anything like that to call, and we can make that connection in private, we could do that. Okay.
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
Baird,
for sure. I
Evans.
am definitely game.
Mr. Baird, it's
All
Ms.
right,
Evans. Yasmin, you can call me. I believe we've actually already spoken. You can call me at 121. We'll get that set up.
Okay, perfect. I'll give you a ring in the morning then.
Call me Monday, please. I'm out tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. I will call you first thing Monday morning.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you both for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you for everything.
Every time. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Justine?
Hi. My question is regarding the hours. You said once we actually go in person on the full in-school hybrid, we would go back to the normal hours of 7:30 for high school to 2, correct?
Yes.
And then early dismissal for everyone on Fridays. Would it still be the start time of the 7:30?
It would be, and that would be online though, remember, that's
Yeah, I
a 100% virtual.
And if for some reason a case does show up and, you close school for 2 or 3 days or whatever amount of time, it'll still stay at the 7:30 to 2?
Always remain the same.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that too. Others may have had the same question.
Rachel?
About the cleaning of the buildings. I am so happy that you guys are doing a deep cleaning, but my question is, especially for the youngins that are switching classes, would they have the ability to get to cleaning wipes?
Within their classroom, you mean to do themselves?
Yes, like when they switch classes and they want to tidy up their desks before they sit down from the previous student, will they have wipes in the classroom that they can use?
We always have wipes within the classroom, absolutely, and we are having regularly scheduled cleanings. Remember, we're having lunch within the classroom, so the regularly scheduled cleanings within each room on a daily basis. So yes, and there are also wipes available, if they're ever needed, if that's what your concern is. They are in the classroom.
If my daughter wants to bring her own, will that be okay?
Of course.
Because I know with lockers and book bags and kids accidentally touching each other's stuff.
Yep, that's perfectly okay.
Okay, and will she be able to carry her own hand sanitizer with her?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Good thinking. Thank you.
Robin Smith?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Robin.
So are the teachers for the little ones, are they suggesting more than one mask for the day? Because I know some daycares are doing that, maybe like 5 or 4.
We have not done that. That is something, again, most of this is new for us. We have minimal amounts of students in the building. So this is a great recommendation. This is something that we can look into. So they have multiple masks that they're asking folks to bring at the younger levels.
Mr. Barrett, it's Mrs.
Yes.
McCabe. I actually ordered Ziploc bags and I have labels for all of the elementary students. I was going to request that all the parents send in a backup mask, and I was going to keep it in their labeled bags for them just so we had a backup. So that was going to be something I was doing when we get closer. So thank you for bringing that up.
And one more quick question. It was probably already addressed and I missed it. So when are we going to get the schedule for when the hybrid schedule? When does that come out?
The hybrid schedule, we actually have it ready to go. Everything's set to go Monday.
Oh, Monday. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So it'll be out for viewing Monday.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome, Robin.
Jessica?
Hi there, Mr. Barrett. How are you?
Good. How are you? How's everything?
Good, thanks. Just a couple of questions. First is I have 5 kids that are in the school district. We are sharing 2 computers right now between 5 children. And a lot of their schedules are overlapping, just like everybody else's, to where I actually have kids switching from VLN back over to hybrid now, which has been awesome. I've been working with Miss Daphne about that because the Google Classroom, my children seem to like a lot better. Now, I'm just having a hard time because, like I said, I do have 5 kids, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 7th. So trying to share the 2 different computers is very hard. I understand having like 2 and 3 kids do it, but having 5 is becoming almost unmanageable right now, with going to the hybrid version. With the VLN version was different because they have a different setup. So I don't know, like, I mean, do I still just like reach out to their teachers and just let them know, hey, this is what's going on?
Please.
Okay, and then my other thing is, hold on, Joel. The other thing is, one of my children is IEP. Is that going to be taken into consideration too once they come in-house? Will their IEP stuff be done when they're brick and mortar?
Absolutely. So let me answer your first question, and then the second question, maybe I get, the answer to both questions is yes, everything's going to be taken into consideration. So the very first thing is please just communicate with your teachers, whether it be in the hybrid model or in the VLN model, okay? Just let them know that you're running into these struggles, that things are intensifying a little bit now as we get deeper and deeper into the weeds of work. And then, but also in the same aspect, any accommodation that's needed, and I hate to talk about any private issues out here, but we will have somebody reach out, but there's always going to be accommodations. We're mindful of what our requirement, what our need, and what our desire is to make sure we meet every need possible.
Okay, and then one more thing was, I think you did mention it, that you are going to try and do the best you can as far as putting all of the siblings together.
Yes.
Okay, now, like I said, I'm in the middle of converting 2 of my kids from VLN over to hybrid. 3 of them already have been converted. So now what happens? Do you know what happens with their, like, as far as like their gradings and things like that? Does all that transfer over to the hybrid portion now?
So what I would like you to do is possibly send me an email, or Mrs. Bennett. Mrs. Bennett, are you on here?
Yes, I'm here.
So maybe we could connect through email to make sure that we're all on the same page here in getting the information that we need from you to make sure that everything is transitioned smoothly over to the hybrid model, and you have what you need. In addition to that, Jessica, make sure that next week you're a member of the Remind app.
Yep.
Okay, so keep a watchful eye for that sibling survey that's going to go out. Okay, to make sure that the students are on that same AB schedule. To make life easy.
I've been dealing a lot with Miss Daphne, with Dr. Daphne Pugh.
Okay, so you've been okay. So if you want to send Dr. Pugh an email about, okay, tremendous. So then you know what to do. Go with what you know, and then send her an email. Let her know the kids are transitioning back from VLN into our hybrid model, and then stay streamlined with her. Then, okay.
All right, we'll do.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question from an iPhone.
Hi, can you tell me if there was an announcement of when kindergarten orientation will be?
Yes, so orientation is going to be October the 1st and 2nd. It's Thursday and Friday. There is going to be information coming out over this weekend and the beginning of next week about AB schedules. You're going to receive it in the format of remind text, an all call, and the social media associated with Hanover Green. So you're going to want to make sure that you're watching out for your child's name and the list for the AB schedules to make sure that you know which day your child is going on. A is going on October 1st, Thursday, and B is going on Friday. So whatever your child's last name is, you would want to make sure that you're there on those days.
Okay, do you know if it would be after working hours or during the day, just so I can give like my boss a heads up?
It would be during the school day. Okay, I know he's set to start in the morning. They're going to do a drop-off method early, bright and early, and then they're going to be in there, meet their teachers, learn about the transition, and within the hallways, learn how to load onto a bus, have a little bit of lunch, and then a dismissal. So, you'll be receiving all this information.
Okay, thank you.
The teachers are also posting, your kindergarten teachers are also posting this information particular to your student within their Google Classroom. So make sure that you are watching out for that this week, today and tomorrow. They will be putting that information within their Google Classroom. So if your child's in kindergarten, make sure you're keeping a watchful eye in the teacher's messages.
We have a question from another iPhone.
Yes, hi, good evening. It's Allison Byer, and I had a question. It may have been asked before. I just want to clarify. So half of the students would be in person for 4 days for 1 week, and then Friday would be virtually for half a day, correct?
Correct. That is correct. So they're in all 4 days. They come in those days, Monday through Thursday. Friday, they remain home. They're in school until 11 a.m. Then they're dismissed at 11 a.m. to either go to the lunch sites or they're finished for the weekend. And then the following week, they would be virtually educated for the following week.
Okay, and then they do still have the option of, instead of going in for the 4 days, staying with the hybrid model, or no?
Absolutely, yes. You do not ever have to step foot into a bus, school, whatever it is. If you're uncomfortable with that for your child, you remain in the hybrid online portion.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. You take care.
Thank you, you too.
Chris?
I'm sorry. I just had a question. What are the trailers that are up at Memorial for right now? Are they like for our school?
They, in the past, unfortunately, they were used for an overflow of students within that school.
Oh no, there's two additional ones that are in the parking lot right now.
No. They're being broken down. They're being taken down to the high school. So we're disassembling them and we're getting them out of there. So
okay.
Those were unfortunately annex classrooms the last several years, but we moved that 6th grade down to Linwood Elementary Center, and we no longer have kids in trailers.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
We have a question from another iPhone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay, my name is Ruth Ann Wren. Question, the week that they don't have school, will they be online then for all day as those kids that are in school?
Correct. So they're simulating a school day virtually online like they are right now, today.
Okay.
They're going to continue that process.
Okay, so then when they are home for the 4 days, they'll be online with their teacher in the classroom, the same teacher in the classroom. Yeah.
That is correct.
All day. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure about that. Okay. That was my only question.
Thank you, Ruth Ann.
Thank you. Thank you.
Laura Owens?
Hi, Mr. Barrett. I just wanted to clarify. Somebody made a post on Facebook, actually, just within the last 20 minutes about it's kind of just like a brief summary of this meeting. And it stated that kindergarten may be going back later. Is that factual? Because I just know everyone's trying to get their schedules together for
Negative.
school.
And what I do encourage is that anything that's on Facebook other than our website, I would not take as a credible source.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many calls I field a week about any other website other than our own. Please do not take it as a credible source. So,
Okay. No, I just wanted to clear the air because I know a lot of us are on there.
They're coming back earlier. As a matter of fact, they're coming back the 1st and the 2nd for orientation. So they're coming back on Thursday and Friday of October the 1st and the 2nd for orientation, and then they begin live instruction in the hybrid half schedule on Monday the 5th with everyone else.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from another iPhone.
Hi, Mr. Barrett. This is Raluca Toya. Just looking for some
Hi.
clarification. When the kids are back in school, they'll have their teachers that they currently do now. When they're on the virtual learning, are they going to be seeing their teachers simultaneously as those students that are in class, or is it going to be completely independent work that they are to complete?
No, it's going to be seeing the teacher that they have been seeing since August the 28th. The only difference is that the teacher is not readily going to be available in front of the camera. They'll be running a simultaneous lesson, but the teacher may have to pause, get up, move around the room, work with the student individually, but come back, regroup the classroom virtually and in person, make sure everybody's on the same page, checking for the understanding, and then moving forward. So things might move a little bit slower because there will be several moving parts, a little bit more difficulty for the teachers. However, it will be in unison, both an online lesson and an in-person instruction, with the exception of Fridays.
Okay.
Is that clarifying?
Yes, thank you very much.
Got it.
Okay, Mr. Barrett, your last question is from Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Sorry, it's me again. My questions are coming spotty tonight.
It's okay.
So, well, I have to be a kindergarten hat and also high school hat, so sometimes it doesn't always come together. Speaking of kindergarten, right now, currently, the kids are only on for an hour in the morning and then approximately a half hour, roughly, in the afternoon. So now they're going to go from that to being online all day when they're home, because that's a big transition to ask.
Repeat this again to me. So kindergarten's on what?
Sure. So currently, the kids who are online for kindergarten, they only are online from 9 to 10 in the morning. 10 to 11 is independent instruction. And then aside from their special, their math class only runs from 1 to 1:30. So now if the kids are going to all be online with their teachers, so now we're going to ask the kindergartners to be online. That's a big jump. Like there's no transition there. So that makes me really concerned.
Okay, I wish I knew about this a little bit earlier. That is a concern for me as well. And I will get some clarification from you, for
Please,
you.
because that's a lot to ask of the kindergartners at home and the parents who are working from home like myself. I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Okay, and that's disappointing. So I thank you very much for the information.
No problem.
Mr. Barrett, we do have a question from Nicole.
Hi, before I ask a million questions, all I wanted to know, because I missed most of the meeting, is where can I find the recorded version of the meeting?
After this, this will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow morning on the Hanover Area School District web page or page, YouTube page.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I thank you.
Jessica?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Barrett. Just going off of what the two people ago had just said about the kindergartners. What she said, that is what it goes off of, as well as first grade. First grade, it's only an hour in the morning, I think it is, and then an hour in the afternoon. And like my kids, I mean, that was a little difficult for a kindergartner to sit and stare at a computer. So that is going to kindergarten and first grade. That's actually like that, set up that way. And then they have the independent learning in between everything. So yeah, that's going to be a big jump to go from just that little bit of being on a computer to a full day. I didn't even think of that earlier.
Okay. I don't have that answer right now. So I apologize. And all right, disappointing. So, Linda, do you have a question, Linda? You gotta unmute yourself.
My question is, my grandson has been going to the emotional support class for the past 2-3 weeks, whatever it's been. And how's this going to affect his schedule? Will he go back to the week on, week off, or will he still be every week?
Negative. He'll be in every week. His schedule will remain the same.
But he'll be starting at 7:30
So
because he's
we'll
at the
move
high
that-
school.
Yeah, we'll be moving that schedule back. All that information will come out to you. We'll make sure that you get updated information so that you are receiving the same information as all the other folks attending the high school. So I'm glad that you brought this up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. 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 Final question?
We have two more, Mr. Barrett. Laura Owens.
Hi, sorry again. Have you, regarding like kindergartners being online all day, that whole thing, and I know personally it's very difficult for my daughter sometimes for even an hour to stay online, especially in her own, in her own home where, there's distractions. Have you exercised the idea of possibly having elementary students being in class for those who want to have their students in class in person full time? With people doing hybrid, maybe like people wouldn't want to be in class, keeping the students home, that has, leaves room for that option, I would think. So then that way.
The only way I would be able to entertain that is if we remained under the 25 students or 25 folks within that classroom rule right now. I always have to leave a spot open for every student. So I wouldn't want to make sure that because a student did not show up, not have a space for them. I would entertain it if we did the survey and people said they definitely will not be back. I would be willing to entertain the fact of utilizing that in-person seat if a parent is certain about that. And that's a really in-depth thinking, and I appreciate that. So that is something I could look further into. I'm trying to get this AB schedule down pat, but I'm also trying to figure out how I get the best education for these kids right now. So I'm strategizing, and I'm half here on this phone call right now at this point because
I just feel like at a high school level, they're more adaptable with online, and a lot of the kids, if parents are working, they can, be home. They're older. Whereas if the elementary, that's keeping parents home, missing work, you know what I mean, and all that, and also, to be online all day long is
right. So,
but yeah, thank you.
All right.
Cassidy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to say on behalf of the other mothers of kindergarten and first graders that it's okay that they're only on for an hour or so at a time. That's pretty much all they can handle. I know that my daughter especially has a really hard time staying focused when there's so much going on around her. And the teachers that we have been absolutely fantastic about giving enough assignments to fill in the other time so that they do what they have to do when they're on the classroom. What they have to teach one-to-one to the whole classroom is when they're in their online setting. And then their assignments that they're doing for the rest of the time is really filling up the rest of the time. And it gives them the ability to not have to stare at the screen and listen to the other kids doing what they're doing at home. And I think that when that first came up, it kind of looked like you were taken aback, like that's not what you wanted to be happening. And I get that, but I just want to rest your mind that it's actually working better this way.
I appreciate that input.
Mr. Barrett, that's all the questions.
Okay, folks, I thank you so much for taking the time out to be here, and you will get building-specific
Mute it.
building-specific information that pertains particularly to your child, and you will be getting some surveys over the next week. So please be patient with the, again, seeking of information from us, but we want trying to best serve you. So I thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mr. Barrett.
Have a great night, okay?
Thanks, Mr. Barrett.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Bye-bye.